Good afternoon, everyone. Sir, may I please board? Show me the board. Okay. Students, good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me? Students, can you hear me? Students, can you hear me? Reply in the chat box. Can you hear me? Okay. Huh? Updating. Very slow net is. Yes. Okay. So students, today in our social science history class, we are going to discuss another subunit, another topic from your chapter 3 in history book. So those students have history book, open the history book in page number 37. Page number 37. So look at the page number 37. Before that, there are 4 mosques. The picture of the 4 mosques given here. So you have to know what is mosque first. Okay, that a mosque is called a masjid in Arabic, and literally a place where a Muslim prostrates in reverence to Allah. Okay, prostrates means to stooping. Okay, so stooping, bend their knees and the posture in which they deliver the namaz, it is called, and the posture is called prostrates. Okay, and reverence means devotion. Okay, the love towards and the complete devotion towards the Almighty Allah. Okay, so the masjid is a place where Muslim prostrates to reverence to Allah. Okay. Now, in a congregational mosque, masjid-i-jami or jama. Okay, in a congregational mosque, congregation means where people they gathered. Congregation means gathering. So where people gathered for namaz, it is called masjid-i-jama or jama masjid, and Muslims read their prayers, namaz together, and members of the congregation choose to most respected learned male in as their leader, called imam. And for the rituals of prayer, he also delivers some sermon called khutbah, and he also delivers sermon khutbah during the Friday prayer. Okay. So this is the masjid. You know, most of you already know what is masjid and how did people pray inside the masjid. So during prayer, Muslims stand facing Makkah, and in India this is in the west, so this is called Qibla, means this is India, and okay, this Arabian Peninsula, this is Makkah. So in India it is west. Okay, western side. So all the masjids, okay, the Qibla is facing towards the west. Okay, so it is called Qibla, very important. Okay, this came in an exam, previous exam. So, and students, after discussing today's class, I will tell you about the exam, okay, give you some information about the exam, and you will found the detailed instructions about the exam in the our official website as well as in the e-portal. I think it was already given, okay, just check it. So, listen to me, there are 4 mosques given here. First one, Quwat al-Islam. So, the 4 mosques, the picture of 4 mosques given in the book, that Quwat al-Islam, it was made by Iltutmish, okay, and later Alauddin Khilji restored and enlarged the mosque, and the minar was built by the sultans beside the mosque. It is called Qutub Minar. You have known that Qutub Minar, and it was built around 1199 in the time, it was built in the time of Qutbuddin Aibak, started building in the time of Qutbuddin Aibak and finished in the time of Iltutmish. Okay. Sir, show me the chat box. Sarmon, okay. Name of the students? No. This one. Sampurna, okay. What is sermon or khutbah? Khutbah is some interpretations, okay, interpretations about some verses from Quran, as well as they giving some lectures, okay. So, this is called the khutbah or sermon, okay. That how to live a good life being a Muslim. So, now this is the Quwat al-Islam. It was established in the time of Iltutmish, and the Qutub Minar situated beside the Quwat al-Islam mosque started building in the time of Qutbuddin Aibak, and after the death of Qutbuddin Aibak in the time of Iltutmish, it was finished. Next mosque, it is the Begumpuri Mosque, and Begumpuri Mosque, the picture is given in figure number 3, and it is situated in the fort and city of Jahanpana and established by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Muhammad bin Tughlaq established the Jahanpana. Okay. So, number 3, it is Maut Ki Masjid. Okay. So, Maut Ki Masjid established by Sikandar Lodi in the Lodi dynasty. Aristocrats means the rich people, and those belong to a good clan, okay, a good family. They are, and also they had some lot of wealth. They were called aristocrats, okay. Someone is shouting, Rahul Shaw. What happened? Okay, Rahul Shaw, go to your Skype screen and go and look at the right side corner. There is an option more, and click on the more option and mute everyone, and just you did this, no, sir, you do this. So, mute everyone, okay. Now, it is okay, I think. Now, listen, next one, it is the Mosque of Jamali Kamali. Mosque of Jamali Kamali, it was said that one saint named Sheikh Jamali Kamba or Sheikh Fajlullah, a Sufi saint, and the tomb of a Sufi saint Jamali, and beside another person Kamali also buried. So, both the people, they buried side by side. So, and a mosque was established over the burial. So, it is called the Mosque of Jamali Kamali, and it was also made in the time of Sikandar Lodi, the Lodi ruler. Okay. So, this is the history of the 4 mosques in Delhi, if you in future if you will go to Delhi, you can see the 4 mosques. Okay. So, let us start today's main subunit that I am wanted to tell you, discuss with you, that is administration and consolidation under the Khiljis and Tughlaqs. Okay, Saptarshi, Qibla. Qibla means, I have already drawn the picture of how did they offering their namaz. All the people, all the Muslims, they in the all over the world, they delivering their, they actually praying their God, they prostrates in the position on the facing the Qibla. Qibla means in to facing the towards the Makkah. Okay. To facing the main masjid, Masjid-e-Haram in Makkah. Okay. So, all the people of the world, all the Muslims, not all the people, all the Muslims, they are offering their namaz on the facing Makkah. It is called Qibla. So, in western countries, Qibla is in east. So, they are facing east. So, in India, the Qibla is in west. So, all the Muslims, they are praying towards west. Okay. Understood? Only the Muslims, Saptarshi. Okay. Only the Muslims. It was said in their holy book, Quran. Now, the main topic, that is the administration and consolidation under the Khiljis. Administration and consolidation under the Khiljis and Tughlaqs. Okay. This is, so what is administration? First you have to know that administration, you know that administration is very important to administer a country, empire and kingdom, a region. Okay. The entire structure depended on the administration, and the consolidations means united, how to keep them together, because all the time in a region the people try to decentralize, okay, apart from the main kingdom, empire or region. So, they need to consolidate the entire territory by force or other means, by good administration or other public welfares, means to giving people some facility, okay, etc. So, now how did Khiljis and Tughlaqs, the two dynasties, they consolidate the administration and they established a good rule in the Indian subcontinent. The Delhi Sultan, especially the Iltutmish, favored their special slaves purchased for military purposes called Bandagan in Persia for different administrative posts. When they started thinking about the administration of the newly owned territory of Delhi and surrounding areas, North India, Iltutmish he relied on his favorite slaves. They were purchased for military duties, military purposes, called Bandagan. Okay. In Persian language, they are called Bandagan. Remember who were called Bandagan. Okay. So, Bandagan are special slaves purchased for military duties by the sultans. But they were also trained to administer most important political offices in the kingdom, and they were trained to administer most of the powerful administrative posts and important offices such as finance department, revenue department and the military department, okay, as well as the other departments. Now, they were very much dependent on their masters, and easily Sultan could trust them. And one important good thing is in them, that they completely trust on their masters, and they never did something else without the permission of their masters. And so the sultans could trust them easily and depend and rely upon them. Okay. So, along with the slaves, Khaljis and Tughlaqs, in the time of Khaljis and Tughlaqs, they raised people from humble birth, means humble background, or some good family members. They raised those people who often under the protection of them, and appointed them to high political positions such as governors and army generals called elites. Okay. So, they are called elites. Okay. Sorry, they are called clients. I am wrong, they are called clients. This is clients. Okay. Humble means they are very gentle. Okay. Or people belong to very common background, no such glory in their family members, or nobody from their family become the part of the kingdom or administrator. Okay. So, they are first generation administrators. In the time, if you have talent and if you can impress the sultan, they trained them and made and posted any administrative posts. Okay. If you could impress the sultan at the time, this type of thing happened. So, Khiljis and Tughlaqs also raised people from humble birth. Okay. They know that these people are talented, so they trained them in such a way, and in future they were appointed high political positions such as the governors of the regional states, regions, as well as the military general. However, they also responsible for political instability, but these slaves, these clients, they also responsible for political instability. Sometimes they become rebellious against their sultan and try to apart their territory from the sultanate or kingdom or empire. So, that is another problem. So, that is why slaves and clients only loyal to their masters and patrons, but not their heirs. But one problem is there, the slaves and these clients, Bandagan and clients, they were only loyal to their masters. After the death of the master, they were not obey their heirs, or son or daughter, they not obey. They only obey their masters who raised them, who trained them and ordered them at the time. So, new sultan had their own client and slave. So, those people became new king. So, after the death of Jalaluddin Khalji, when Alauddin Khalji became the sultan, he also had his own bandagan and clients. So, his own people was there. So, he killed or removed all the people or slaves that were loyal to Jalaluddin Khalji. Okay. So, as a result, accession of new monarch often saw conflict between old and new nobility. So, when some new people became king, okay, the succession when happened, succession means when death of one king, another one, his son or any successor become the king. They saw conflict between the old and new nobility. The nobility and the clients and bandagan, they also fighting with each other. The old bandagans of the old king and the new bandagan and clients of the new king, they fight with each other, and also it creates a unstable condition into the Delhi Sultanate. The patronage of humble people also criticized by the elites and authors of Tawarik. The authors of Tawarik and the elite people at the time, they already asked, they were aristocrats. They were criticized that why did you collect those people from humble background and slaves and give them important posts. So, they were very much critical about those. Okay. So, Khalji and Tughlaqs also appointed military commanders as governors of various territories called Iqta. So, this is their administration, but Khilji and Tughlaqs, they were not bothered about this criticism, they only follow their own rules, okay, because they know that these were more than loyal, the clients and bandagans, they were more than loyal to these aristocrats, because aristocrats, most of them were useless, they busy on their lavish lifestyle, they busy to enjoying their life, they are not so eligible for the such a leadership such as military commander or other posts. Okay. So, this is their administration. So, now their revenue administration, now I am going to discuss their revenue administration. So, revenue means taxes. How did they consolidate their revenue administration? That Khalji and Tughlaqs appointed military commanders as governors of various territories called Iqta. It is called Iqta. So, what is Iqta? So, Iqta is a piece of land or a territory given as a salary to these administrators and local governors, and holder of the land called Iqtadar or Mukti, holder of Iqta called Iqtadar or Mukti, M-A-Q-M-U-Q-T-I, Mukti. Okay. And what are the duties of the Mukti? Number 1, led military campaigns. What are the duties of the Mukti? Duties of Mukti are led military expedition. Okay. 1. Military expeditions. Number 2, it is the maintaining law and order, maintain law and order on their particular territory given to them to rule. Number 3, collection of revenue, mainly land revenue they collected from the peasants, appointing by appointing various officials. So, this is another duty. And number 4, paid soldiers. So, this revenue they collected, this is their salary, they were not given any salary for their duty. The revenue they collected from their particular Iqta is called, it is their revenue, it is their salary, sorry, and from this salary they paid the soldiers. They paid the soldiers, they maintained, and the soldiers were very much loyal to them, and these soldiers were paid from this salary. Okay. So, these are the 4 duty of the Mukti. Okay. So, next day I will discuss that how did the sultans manage the Muktis and the type of taxes collected by the people, by the officials of sultan at that time. Okay. So, if you have any doubt from this subunit, you can ask me. Okay, no doubt. And okay, so another thing that about your exam, okay, so there will be 4 questions, 4 options in your exam. 4 options will be there, A, B, C and D. This is a question suppose, and 4 options are written, and there are some in this way some markings were there. So, you have to choose the correct option. Suppose correct option is A. So, you choose the correct option and there will be 20 questions and 20 marks exam and time also 20 minutes, means average 1 minute you will get for your exam. MCQ of chapter 2, there are a lot of MCQs are there. So, if you read the chapter carefully, you can you already got some questions. Okay. So, you have to do just one thing, read the chapters carefully, both the chapters read carefully, okay, line by line you will find the answers, okay, such as the name of the rulers, the founder of the dynasties, the name of the taxes in the Chola and the Rashtrakuta dynasty and the tripartite struggle, all these things. Okay. It is PT1, it is similar like PT1, but it is not PT1, it is called assessment 1, and you will find the link of the examination in your e-portal on the particular date on particular time given on your website, okay, on the official website of the school. And when the time is come, suppose it is from 8 am, then in 8 am the link will be sent to you, you will click the link and start exam button, and exam will be start, 20 questions, 20 minutes, clock will be ticking in the upper side, and after clicking the 20 correct options, you will press the submit button and your answers will be submitted. And if after 20 minutes and those have not those would not press the submit button, their answer sheet also automatically submitted after 20 minutes. Okay. So, that is all. You will give the exam in e-portal, in your e-portal, and you already got the password and email ID also already you have. Through this password and email ID you can enter into the e-portal in a similar way, and below there is another option will be there, assessment 1, and you will click the assessment 1, start exam, and exam will be started. Okay. So, that is all, and rest of the information, further information you will found in our official website of our school as well as in your Skype group. So, thank you everyone, see you in the next class.